At 19 North Square still stands the well-known home of midnight rider Paul Revere. At least that is what the home is best known for. However, there have been many other residents. Even before the house was built, on the site there was the former parsonage of the Second Church of Boston. The parsonage was occupied by Increase Mather, the minister of the Second Church. Mather was a Puritan minister and was involved with the Massachusetts Bay Colony and its government. He also was a part of the administration of Harvard College. However, he is most known for his influence in the Salem witch trials. Increase published The Return of Several Ministers Consulted. Mather was against all of the witch executions and gave sermons against them. It is better that 10 suspected witches escape than that one innocent person should be condemned. These were the words and beliefs of Increase Mather. Increase Mather was the son of Richard Mather, who also was a Puritan minister. Cotton Mather was Increase's son, and he too followed in his father's footsteps and was a very influential minister. The Mathers remained with the church from 1670 until it was destroyed in the Great Fire of 1676. The Revere House was built upon the old site of the Second Church of Boston in 1680. The very first owner was Robert Howard. Howard was a wealthy merchant in Boston. Paul Revere purchased the home in 1770. His family moved there from Clark's Wharf. At the time, the Revere family included his wife, Sarah, their 5 children, and Paul's mother, Deborah Hitchborn. Revere was born in 1734 in Boston's North End. He was the son of Frenchman-born Apollos Rivoire, who came to Boston at the age of 13 and was then an apprentice to a silversmith. His father later changed his name to Paul Revere. Revere's mother was also from Boston. Revere fought in the 7 Years' War, also known as the French and Indian War, and served as a second lieutenant in an artillery regiment. After the war, he returned to Boston. He was a silversmith and also a famous Freemason. Revere became more and more involved with the Sons of Liberty as time went on. Also, he sometimes worked as a dentist in his early years. Revere was quickly becoming famous in Boston for his silverwork. In the 1760s, he made several political engravings. Revere's most famous engraving is a depiction of the Boston Massacre. In 1773, Sarah, his wife, died, leaving Paul with 6 children. Revere remarried a woman named Rachel Walker, with whom he had 5 more kids. Revere was at the Boston Tea Party, and he later began working as a messenger for the Boston Committee of Public Safety. He would take messages back and forth about the British and political matters. Paul Revere's midnight ride on the night of April 18, 1775, is by far what he is most famous for and what people remember him by. William Dawes and Paul Revere rode from Boston to Lexington and warned John Hancock and Samuel Adams about the British who were moving to Lexington to arrest Hancock and Adams. Revere and Dawes were both captured by the British. On their way, however, Dawes escaped, but did not complete the ride. Revere was escorted at gunpoint and questioned. Revere later on helped John Hancock and his family escape from Lexington. Paul Revere owned the house on North Square from 1770 to 1800. However, the family may not have lived there in some periods in the 1780s and 90s. Revere sold the home in 1800. After the home was sold, it remained vacant for a period of time, and then became a tenement. The ground floor was remodeled for use as shops, such as candy stores, cigar factories, bank, and vegetable and fruit business. In 1902, the building was run down and going to be destroyed, but Paul Revere's great-grandson, John P. Reynolds, Jr., purchased the building to make sure it wouldn't be torn down. In 1908, Paul Revere's house opened its doors to the public as one of the earliest historic house museums in the U.S. The house has since become one of the most popular attractions in the city of Boston, and it still remains so.